want to talk about college football? Let's get right to it. This is college football week 12 picks. Let's get this right quickly. Starting with the Friday games, North Texas taking on UTSA, the Roadrunners of San Antonio. 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. The Mean Green are a 1-point favorites. I'm going to go with the Mean Green. I think their offense, the way they're playing offense is really good. I got the Mean Green winning it by 3. UCLA traveling to Washington to take on the Huskies at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Washington is a 4.5-point favorite. Washington, they need this win to keep their to get a bowl eligible. UCLA, they're 2 wins away for a bowl eligible also. Who takes it? I gotta say, I got UCLA on the road in Washington. I think Deshaun Foster will find his team a way to win it. They will win it by 3. Houston taking on Arizona at 10:15 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Arizona is a 1.5-point favorites. It's a 3-win team trying to get 3 wins to get a bowl eligible. Taking on a 4-win team that needs 2 wins to get a bowl eligible. So I'm going to go Arizona. I think they need this win the most. Give me Arizona by 2. All right, let's go to the games to watch on Saturday. Ohio State goes to Northwestern to take on the Wildcats at 12 p.m. Eastern on Big Ten Network. Ohio State is a 28.5-point favorites. This is a neutral site in the baseball field, home of the Chicago Cubs. That's something to keep an eye on. I'm going to go Ohio State. I think they win it by 20. The reason why 20 is their next opponent is the Indiana Hoosiers, in which it could determine who's going to play Oregon in the Big Ten Championship. An old rivalry renewed in the SEC. The third-ranked team in the country, Texas, taking on Arkansas at 12 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. Texas is a 12.5-point favorite. Earlier it was 10.5, and now it's 12.5. Now, of course, Arkansas's quarterback, Tyon Green, is on the injury reserve. We don't know if he'll play on Saturday. If he does play, expect this game to be a bit closer. But if he plays, I'm going to go Texas. I think Texas wins it by 10 on the road against Arkansas, who, remember, they already beat Tennessee, a ranked team. So can they do it with Texas? I don't think so. But I think Texas wins it by 10. All right, this is the game I'm interested to keep an eye on. Utah taking on the 17th team in the country, Colorado, at 12 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Colorado's an 11-point favorites. Now, Utah is coming off a heartbreaking loss to BYU. And Colorado, they're controlling their destiny to possibility play in the Big 12 championship game. But to do that, they gotta finish the schedule. Against Utah, it's gonna be a bit harder, and it's a rivalry game. I'm gonna go with Colorado, a home game. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, they're gonna find a way to pull it off against Utah's defense. So give me Colorado by 8. I think, again, Utah's defense is still really good. I think Colorado will find a way to survive. Give me Colorado by 8. 20th team in the country, Clemson, taking on Pitt at 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN+. Clemson's an 11.5-point favorites. Now, Clemson, they can, unfortunately, or maybe, they have control of the destiny. They just have to win the rest of these games to go to the ACC championship game with SMU, who SMU is undefeated in the conference, and they're first, so it don't matter. Pitt is trying to spoil that party after losing to Virginia. Is this a must-win for Pitt and Clemson? Yes, of course. I think Clemson wins it on the road in Pittsburgh, beat the Panthers. Give me Clemson winning it by 7 in this one. 25th team in the country, Tulane, taking on Navy at 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Tulane is a 7-point favorite. Now, Tulane will be playing Tulane with a win. They and Army will play for the American Athletic Conference Championship game. But if Navy wins, they will tie with Tulane for second place, and the spot for an American Athletic Club's championship game is on the line. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think Tulane on the road gets a huge win, and they're getting themselves to the American Athletic Conference championship game. And Tulane wins it by 8. Coastal Carolina taking on Marshall at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Marshall's an 8.5-point favorite. I'm going to go Marshall. I think they get this huge win against Coastal Carolina. Marshall wins it by 10. The 10th ranked team in the country, Alabama, taking on Marcher, who are 9-1 in their overall record. 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and SEC Network. Alabama's a 42.5-point favorites. Can I just put that to -1 point? Just kidding. Alabama wins it by 45. Yeah. FAU taking on Temple at 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Temple's a 2.5-point favorites. I say FAU gets the big win on the road in Lincoln Financial Field. They get a big win against Temple. Michigan State taking on Illinois at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Illinois is a 2.5-point favorites. I think Michigan State has been had a good year under Jonathan Smith. Now, can they get 2 wins to get a bowl eligible? I think there's a chance they can do it. And it starts now against Illinois, who already clinched a bowl eligible game, but also they're trying to finish their season strong. I'm going to go Michigan State on the road in Illinois. We're going to have some good upset road wins. So give me Michigan State by 3. Syracuse taking on Cal at 3 p.m. Eastern on the CW Network. Cal is a 9-point favorites against Kyle McCord, Fred Brown, and Syracuse. Wow. Cal needs 1 win and they get a bowl eligible. So, you know what? I'm going to go with the Stunchy Golden Bears. I think Cal gets it through. They win it by 6. Hawaii take on Utah State at 3 p.m. Hawaii is a 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to go Hawaii. Again, the Rainbow Warriors find a way to pull it off, and they will win it by 4. 4th ranked team in the country, Penn State, taking on Purdue at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Purdue's a 28, actually, not Purdue. Penn State is a 28.5-point favorites. Penn State will destroy them. They will win it by 35. Virginia taking on 8th team in the country, Notre Dame, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Notre Dame is a 23-point favorites. Now, is this a letdown game? Because remember, Notre Dame will be playing against Army, which is a huge game for them. So I'm going to think about that game. So give me Virginia upsetting Notre Dame and a huge upset win. Give me the Cavaliers on the road, get a huge win against Notre Dame. And for Notre Dame, they can focus against Army. Boston College taking on 14th ranked team in the country, SMU, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. SMU is at 19.5-point favorites, and yes, SMU get disrespected in the college football playoff committee, not putting them in the top 4. What's wrong with you guys? And taking on Boston College, which we're hearing reports of Castellanos maybe not traveling with the team. So that might be the reason why I'm going to pick SMU winning it by 21. 19th team in the country, Louisville, travels to Stanford to take on the Cardinals at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on the ACC Network. Louisville's a 20.5-point favorites. I'm going to go Louisville by 24. 22nd team in the country, LSU, taking on Florida at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. LSU's at 4-point favorites. This could be another game where if LSU does lose this game, you could expect Brian Kelly to be fired as LSU head coach. Meanwhile, for the Gators, got destroyed by the Longhorns, but this is huge. This is their big opportunity to clinch a bowl eligible this year. With that being said, I'm going to pick the Florida Gators. I think the Gators at the Swamp get a huge win against LSU, and that would probably knock LSU out of the playoff conversation and out of the conversation of an SEC championship game. So give me Florida by 2. Oregon State taking on Air Force at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Oregon State is a 3.5-point favorite. Give me Oregon State winning it by 5. South Florida taking on Charlotte at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. South Florida is a 2.5-point favorite, and they're playing at Jerry Richardson Stadium. Give me the 49ers. Charlotte wins it by 5. All right, this should be a fun one. Nebraska take on USC at 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox. USC is a 7.5-point favorite, and yes, USC in a must-win game. They changed from Miller Moss to a new quarterback, so he's stepping in for the starter, and Lincoln Riley's under pressure. Nebraska, on the other hand, they need one win, and they're in a bowl game. So how's this going to play out? USC wins it by 7 against Nebraska. Baylor taking on West Virginia at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Baylor's a 1.5-point favorite. I'm sorry, Vegas. Baylor's a 1.5-point favorite. Give me West Virginia by 4. 23 team in the country, Missouri, taking on 21st team in the country, South Carolina, 4:15 p.m. Eastern on SEC Network. South Carolina is a 14-point favorite. Now, the Gamecocks are coming off a big win against, who did they play? Let's see. I forgot. Forgot my brain. Oh, wait a minute. They played Vanderbilt. Yeah, I got myself. While for Missouri, they're coming off a big win against Oklahoma. Give me South Carolina. I think they keep it rolling. I say they win it by 10 in this one. 13th team in the country, Boise State taking on San Jose State. 7 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Boise is a 14-point favorite. Boise State by 24. Arizona State taking on 16th team in the country, Kansas State at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Kansas State is a 7.5-point favorite. This is the game where Kansas State cannot afford to lose. Arizona State, on the other hand, they may have also an opportunity, just like Colorado, but they will have to need Colorado to lose. At Kansas State, they got to beat them, and then they have a clear path to the Big 12 championship. I'm going to go Kansas State. They get this win. I say they win it by 6. Number 1 team in the country, Oregon, taking on Wisconsin at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Oregon's a 13.5-point favorites, and they're 1 win away to clinch the Big Ten championship game, which will be played in Indianapolis. So that's huge for Oregon. I'm going to go Oregon. I think Wisconsin could pull all the upset, but I think Oregon wins it. I said Oregon by 8 in this one. Wake Forest taking on UNC at 8 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. UNC is an 11-point favorite. I'm going to go Tar Heels winning it by 12. Cincinnati taking on Iowa State at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Iowa State is a 7.5-point favorite. Give me the Cyclones. They got to respond after losing 2 games. The recent loss to Kansas, so give me Iowa State by 4. Kansas taking on the 6th team in the country, BYU at 10:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. BYU is a 2.5-point favorites. Again, they survive against Utah, and now they got to play Kansas. Is the run going to end? I don't think so. I think BYU continues to roll undefeated, and they beat Kansas by 1 point. All right, to the game of the week. The 7th team in the country, Tennessee, taking on the 12th. Yes, for Bulldogs fans, you never hear this before. The 12th team in the country, Georgia Bulldogs, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. Georgia's a 9.5-point favorite. Okay. So a lot of people are hearing about Tennessee. Could this be the week we can see Tennessee upset Georgia? Is this the game that Georgia needs to win the most? Your two answers are yes, this is a must win for Georgia because they cannot afford another loss, and maybe no chance for them to go to the SEC championship game. That hurts. Tennessee's quarterback is also injured. He has a concussion protocol, but we don't know if he'll play in this game. With that being said, it is played in Athens, Georgia. The crowd is going to go wild. I'm going to go Georgia. I think Georgia will rebound in a must-win game, or we can call this a survivor game. Just like Alabama, LSU, Georgia, on the other hand, they need to win the most because coming off that loss to Ole Miss from last Saturday, that got them woke up knowing that they need to win this game the most. I'm going to go Georgia. Score, Tennessee 23, Georgia 30. Really good game, but I think Georgia will find a way to win it. And that's it for today. And I did do a playlist for 2025 NFL game predictions. So go ahead and check those out. And if you want to see more of this, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.